Hey everybody. So I wanted to make this video for page 25 of your packet. I believe you will do this on Friday. I think you'll be good on this part. This part. It's this part that I'm worried about because it's been so long since we've gone over this. I just wanted to make sure that I reviewed it so that way when you got to this part, you would know what to do. So it's asking if there are 10 tens in 100, how many tens are in 200, 300, 400, and explain how you know. So this goes along with what we've talked about at the beginning of the year and that I taught that we've been trying to review whenever we could is place value. Remember, place value is basically just means where I put digits is important because where I put them, it will make that digit have a different value. If I have the number 100, I have to have a zero digit in the ones, tens, but then the one digit in the hundreds because that one is really worth 100. But let's say that I did this. What if I put the one here in the tens place and a zero in the ones place? Well, now that one has a different value. It's not 100, it's 10. So there is 110 in 10. Just for a random number, what if I wrote 373? Well, now I have a 3, a 7, and a 3. That 3 is in the ones place, that 7 is in the tens place, and that 3 is in the hundreds place. But all of those digits have different values. Even though I have two threes, this 3 and this 3 are worth completely different amounts because of where I put them in the number. This 3 is worth 3. 1, 2, 3. This 7 is worth 7 tens, not 7 of these ones right here, not 7 of these, but 7 of these. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. That 7, because of where it is now worth 70. Okay? And that 3 is not worth 1, 2, 3 ones or 10, 20, 30, three tens, 30. It's worth 300, three of these. So place value is very, 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 very important. And you got to know your place value to be able to answer that question. How many tens are inside of a number like 200, 300, and so forth? So let's talk about that. I want you guys to remember that song that you heard in your first grade classrooms, like 10 ones make 10, 10 groups of 10 are 100. I played that for you this year too. That song is very helpful for reminding you about place value and can help you with this question. So let's say we have 100. That is 100, absolutely. And it looks like this. But I could make 100 look differently if I wanted to, and I would still have 100. I could do that not by adding anything to it or taking anything away from it. I could just do it by regrouping. So watch, when I regroup, when I break that 100 back into 10 tens, back into tens, look how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 tens do make a 100. So this and this are the same. They're exactly the same amount, they just look different. And if I were to break all these tens down into ones, then I would have 100 of these ones, but guess what? It still makes the same amount, 100. Again, it just looks different. So if I wanted to know how many tens were inside of 500, so let's do that. One, whoops, that's 1,000. Don't need that yet. Two, three, four, 500. So there's 500. Five in the hundreds place, zero in the tens, zero in the ones. Some kids may think, well, Mr. Andrews, there's no tens in 500 because there's a zero in the tens place. Done. And then I would say, well, think about it. Which one's bigger, 500 or 10? And they would say 500. I'm like, okay. Well, don't you think that if 500's bigger, that it should have 10 inside of it since 10's smaller? I mean, if I counted from one, two, three, four, all the way to 500, don't I have to pass 10 to get there? I do, which means that 10 must be inside 500. The question is, how many of them are there? Well, we just talked about that there are 10 tens inside of 100, which means that there must be 10 tens inside of that 100, and 10 tens inside of that 100, and 10 tens inside of that one, and 10 tens inside of that one. So there should be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 tens inside of 500. Just to prove it, let's regroup. There's 10 tens. That would make 20 tens, 30 tens, even though it's a little off screen, 40 tens, 50 tens. So there are 50 tens in 500. So thinking about that, see if you can figure out how many are in 200, how many are in 300, how many are in 400. I was able to figure out how many tens were in 500 by drawing 500 and regrouping them into 10. I knew that there were 10 tens inside of 100. So if I have 500s, I must have five different groups with 10 tens in every group, which would make 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 tens. And it would still be 500. So if you have any questions about that, let me know and I'll try to help as soon as I can.